All right, so guys, this is number 4 out of 7.4, but this problem here is almost identical to the class assignment problem number 2 that you guys have to turn in by 6:30 May 13th or whatever it is, right? Okay, so the problem here says an education researcher claims that 53% of college students work year-round. Okay, so their claim is that P is equal to 0.53, right? All right. Let's see. In a random sample of 200 college students, so my N is 200. 106 say they work year-round. At alpha is 0.05. Is there enough evidence to reject the research claim? Okay, so part A says identify the claim and state the HO and the HA. So they're saying that P is equal to 0.53. This here is our claim. Okay, so remember, the opposite of saying something is equal to 53 is saying something is not equal to 0.53. Now, because this has, the first one has the equal to part, this is going to be my HO, and the one that does not have the equal to part is going to be our HA, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and look at the claim. It says identify the claim in the scenario. So I'm going to choose C and saying that 53% work year-round. Now, so you can know that I'm not playing games with you guys here, I'm going to enter in those numbers, and we're going to check our answers as we're going through. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to answer the second part to the question by coming over here, and let me do this. Here we go. Okay, so remember when I put in the first part, we had this right here, where my HO was P is equal to 0.53 and my HAP is not equal to 0.53. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look over here. HO is equal to and HA is not equal to, so I'm going to choose D with both of them being 0.53, right? So HOP is equal to 0.53, HAP is not equal to 0.53. So I'm going to do the same thing here, choose D, and 0.53, and the same thing for the second one, 0.53, and I'm going to check my answer, and we're doing great so far. Okay, now part B says we're going to identify the rejection regions. Okay, so let's do that. And the next piece here. Okay, we want to find our critical values, and we're going to identify the rejection region. Okay, so the first thing is I'm going to look at this part right here, and I'm going to draw a picture, y'all. So here is my picture, okay? And because this has my HA where it's not equal to, the first thing I need to figure out, is this a left tail, a right tail, or a two-tail test? In this case, because it says it's not equal to, this is going to be a two-tail test, okay? And so let's see, they gave me an alpha value here. So alpha was given to me to be 0.05. So what I need to do is I need to take that 0.05, y'all, and divide it by 2, and that's going to give me 0.025. So that's what I'm going to have for each of those two values, okay? And we're going to come up with my two critical values. One of them is going to be negative, y'all, and the other one's going to be positive, okay? And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to use my calculator or my calculator app, and I'm going to go with inverse norm. Now, my inverse norm always tells me I need to enter in the area to the left of this marker, okay? So the area to the left of this marker was a 0.025. So let me do that. Let me get my calculator. Let me clear this out. I'm going to go second vars. I'm going to go inverse norm, 0.025, okay? And I'm coming up with negative 1.96, okay? So this number here, negative 1.96, this is going to be a positive 1.96. And it says round to 2 decimals. That's why I went to 96. Use a comma to separate the answers. Okay, so we can do that. So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to enter in negative 1.96, comma, positive 1.96. I'm going to check my answer. Boom, and we're doing great so far. Okay, now we want to figure out our rejection regions, okay? So guys, I'm going to show you, look at my picture. Here's my picture, okay? So this area in the middle is my fail to reject regions. These here are my rejection regions, okay? So remember, the number here was at negative 1.96, and the number here was a positive 1.96. So when z is smaller than negative 1.96, or when z is bigger than 1.96, those are going to give me my rejection regions, right? So when I come back over here, when z is smaller than negative 1.96, or when z is bigger than 1.96, these are going to be my rejection regions, okay? All right. Now, part C, we're going to find our standardized test statistic. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this piece. Okay. So let's go here. Let's pick this part. Okay, now we want to find our standardized test statistic. So there's a formula, guys, on how I'm going to do this, okay? So my formula is going to be p hat minus p, all divided by, let me get the eraser, okay, all divided by the square root of p q over n, okay? And so, I got to figure out what my p hat is. The way I'm going to find my p hat, okay, is I'm going to take these numbers, 106 over 200. I'm going to convert that to a decimal, okay? So let's go like this, 106 divided by 200. Okay, I want to make that into a decimal. So 0.53, okay? So this is going to be 0.53 minus, let's see, minus 53, or 0.53 again, okay, over the square root of, let's see, PQ, so 0.53. Remember Q, guys? Q is going to be 1 minus P. So 1 minus 0.53 is going to be a 0.47. So 0.47 over my N, which was 200. Okay. So let me do this part on my calculator. So let's see, we have 0.53 minus 0.53 divided by the square root of 0.53 times 0.47 divided by 200. Okay, and enter that in, and I'm coming up with 0. Okay, so my z value that I'm coming up with is 0. So let's check that. Okay, so right here, I'm just going to put the number 0 because that's what I got. And we got it right. Woo! Okay. Now, we got to figure out reject, fail to reject, all that kind of good stuff, okay? So let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to come back over here. Remember the value that we came up with for z right now? We got z equals 0. That's going to be right here. Where did we fall? We fell in our fail to reject region, okay? So I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to select, is it letting me select it? Here we go. Fail to reject. Okay, I know that part. Now, the second part I got to figure out is, let me see if I have it here. I hope I do. If I don't, I'll find it for you real quick. Let's see. Okay, it'll be here in chapter 7. So I'm going to scroll un poquito, y'all, because it's going to be here. And I have it in the little cheat sheet somewhere, but I don't, for whatever reason, there we go. I don't have the cheat sheet here with me. Okay, so look, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Take a little screenshot of this, and we're going to use it now. Okay. Choose my photo. Here we go. Okay, so we knew that we fell in our fail to reject region. That we knew, okay? Now, the second part we got to figure out was our claim the HO or is our claim the HA? So if I scroll back over here, and our claim was, let me see, I think I wrote it here. Yes. Our claim was the HO, right? So now look, if I scroll, oops, okay, our claim was the HO, and we failed to reject, so we're going to say there's not enough evidence to reject the claim, right? So when I come over here, we're going to say there is not enough evidence to reject the researcher's claim, and I'm going to hit check, and we got it done, right? Okay, so guys, I told you this problem is similar, not exactly the same as class assignment 2, and the main reason is in class assignment 2, I believe it tells you that the claim is that the percent of smokers is, what is it, like less than 14%? So this here happens to be my claim, right? So what's the opposite of saying that? Saying it's greater than or equal to. This is my HO, and this is my HA, right? I always look at my HA. This is telling me this is going to be a left tail test, right? And whatever my alpha is, that's the area over here. So I'm going to find my critical value, right, by doing that. But I just wanted to emphasize that the process and how I'm doing this is the same, right? It's not exactly the same, because it says something like the rate of smoking is less than 14%. Okay, so that's the similarity, or that's the difference. I'm sorry, but in terms of how I'm setting it up, almost identical. Okay, I hope that helps. If you guys got any questions, just let me know.